Hey there guys, how are you? So today we're talking about the new movie Annabelle, which is terrifying, but for all the wrong reasons. Go back to hell where you belong, demon! So what is this movie all about? It's about the most boring couple to have ever lived, haunted by an evil doll. Every 15 minutes, a cliche, meaningless jump scare will ensue, but both main characters possess such low IQs, they will continue to do nothing about it. That's Annabelle. Now going into this movie, I really wasn't expecting much. I read some of the reviews, everyone said it was awful, it was terrible, but I'm like, hey, it could be scary at least, and I liked The Conjuring, and a lot of the same people behind that movie are working on this movie, so I'm like, how different could it be? Yeah, it's very, very different. One movie's good, and the other one, it's not. Because in last year's movie, The Conjuring, yeah, it had some typical cliche scary scenes, but it also had scenes in between those where you cared about the human characters, the human element was there, it had character development, that way when something bad happened to the family in the movie The Conjuring, you cared about it, you were on the edge of your seat. In this movie, that just does not exist. I mean, yeah, sure, the movie Annabelle borrows a lot of elements from the movie Insidious and The Conjuring, but it kind of borrows all the worst, cheap elements of those movies and puts them into this, without taking any of the good ones. Now, in all fairness, this movie does have a few terrifying scenes. One of those scenes takes place in this basement with this elevator, and there's another scene in this stairway, so for about 4 minutes of this movie, it was kind of scary. But everything else is just typical cliche jump scares, loud noises, things you've already seen done 100 times, but better everywhere else it's been done before. Now I know, it sounds like I'm ranting about this movie, and that's because I am. This movie's atrocious. It's an abomination against humanity. Now let's talk a little bit more about the two main actors in this movie. Or as I like to call them, they should have stuck to soap opera acting, because that's how they deliver their lines. Very robotic, and they almost feel like they have no humanity. And I can't completely blame the actors, because the script of this movie is just the most predictable, by-the-numbers, cliched, jump scare movie that you're ever going to see. Now let's really dive into how stupid the script for this movie is. At one point in this movie, the characters are aware that this doll is haunted. They're like, we don't want it here, something bad is happening, get rid of it. So what do? They get rid of it. And then they move houses, because the last one they thought was haunted, because of the doll. So yeah, they go to this new house, and the doll magically shows up, and they're just like, I don't care, put it back on the shelf. Now let's continue on with how dumb this movie is, and if I'm nitpicking, let me know down below. But there's one scene where a character is thrown 30 feet onto a concrete sidewalk, you almost think he's dead, 3 gallons of blood are gushing out of the side of his head, you're like, yeah, that guy's dead. In the next scene, he's in a hospital, just setting up with a black eye. Not one bandage wrapped around his head, even though he just lost 3 gallons of blood out of his skull, but he has a black eye. Yeah, the movie Annabelle, it's just not very good, and the sad thing is, it easily could have been better than it was. For example, let's go back to The Conjuring. The Conjuring had scary scenes in it, but the thing that made those scenes so scary is you cared about the characters in them. You didn't want something bad to happen to them. In this movie, you just don't care about anyone, and when there's no consequences that you care about happening to these characters, nothing's really all that scary anymore. So I'm going to give the movie Annabelle a D-. Yeah, the saving grace for this movie is there are a few scary moments in an hour-and-a-half movie. So anyway guys, that's my take on Annabelle. Let me know yours down below. Or what is your favorite scary movie from the last 5 years? If I had to pick one, I might go with Insidious 1. So anyway guys, thanks for watching. Okay, I'm gonna stop, that's getting creepy. So anyway guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, check me out on Facebook and Twitter, links down below. And make sure to check out my last movie review for the movie Gone Girl. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed already, do so, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.